Take a look at this number. 5.2 million people have filed for unemployment this week. Now a total of 22 million people are out of work, wiping out a decade of job gains. Joining us to discuss, market analyst Michael Lee. He's the founder at Michael Lee Strategy, and Mattie Duppler, senior fellow at the National Taxpayers Union. Guys, good to see you again here. I want to get to this breaking news that we are learning that the PPP has actually run out of funds for small business owners right now. Again, they were starting at $350 billion, and now they're out of this money. Mike, what does this mean for these small business owners who are trying to stay afloat? Now they can't even apply for these loans.
Yeah, if Congress doesn't get back to work and continue to fund this program, we're going to continue having days like we had today where there's 5 million plus people filing for unemployment claims. It's really so a few interesting things here. It's amazing that this program was so successful. Your previous guest brought up the fact that it passed 96-0. This is one of the truly smart things that Washington has done to keep the backbone of our economy, small business owners, afloat, and they need to get back to work and continue funding this program.
Right. Mattie, I'll bring you in here. They're saying, of course, that they aren't able to issue any more of these loans because they have run out at this point. Should the government be stepping in for another round of funding for small businesses here?
Absolutely. I think Michael just laid out the dichotomy here. You either have folks who are unemployed and going onto the unemployment rolls for who knows how long, or you have a loan program that allows workers to stay connected to their employer as we ride out the course of this pandemic threat. The second choice is much more helpful, not just for the economy, but for the individual worker. That person gets to retain their health benefits, and they have a job to go back to once the economy can come back online. As was mentioned by Liz earlier from the RNC, it is really troubling what is happening in Washington. The fact that Democrats have now blocked getting PPP funds across the line, not once, but twice, trying to load up these aid packages with political components, I think is really, really disgraceful. It's terrible optics for the Democratic Party headed into an election in November. And frankly, I think it's inexcusable given the fact that we're looking at a crisis where the government has shut down the economy to help contain the public health threat.
Right. And as we begin to recover from this public health threat, as you mentioned, we are focusing on when the government is planning to reopen, when states will reopen. Mike, I want to pose this question to you. What's going to be the implications of either opening a state potentially on May 1st or a month later on June 1st? Are we going to see even more people become unemployed during that time frame, depending on when or how soon these governments and state governments specifically can reopen?
So the longer we wait, the less there is to reopen, particularly with this PPP program shutting down. A lot of these businesses that have closed are never going to open their doors again. And every single day that it's delayed in Congress continuing funding this program, you're going to close more businesses for forever. And if you go from May 1st to June 1st countrywide, that's going to be an epic disaster. Look, there are certain parts of the country, like Manhattan, that are going to be very difficult to get anything meaningful going until much later than other states, like, say, Ohio, where there's a population of 11 million and they've got 6,600 cases. Places like that across the Midwest and even different parts of the state of New York. The policy for Buffalo, the policy for Albany doesn't need to be the same policy as that for Manhattan. So I think certain states, certain areas should start considering opening on Monday. I think other places, you're definitely going to have to wait longer.
Mattie, really quick, your response?
I just think it's very silly to think that we can approach this from a date perspective. We need to be approaching it from a data perspective. The number of tests that are happening, the number of confirmed cases, and the number of infections, the data that we need in order to start opening different regions of this country. And I think that we can do that, but we need to be relying on the right information to do it safely.
All right, good to hear from both of you. Michael Lee, Mattie Duppler.